Hello, everyone. My name is Mike Tarallo. I'm a Principal Technical Marketing Manager with Qlik, and I'd like to welcome you to the Do More with Qlik webinar series, episode number 49, I believe, where today I'm going to cover our new tabular reporting capability, which is available in Qlik Cloud. And joking earlier, before a lot of you have joined, like I said, thinking about changing this series from Do More with Qlik to Do It All with Qlik, because as you're going to see, in addition to the other presentations and content that I've created, there's really not much you can't do with Qlik. Basically going to show you how you can address a common, centrally managed tabular reporting distribution requirement. And this is going to be from within a Qlik Sense application in Qlik Cloud with what we call tabular reporting. And I'm going to show you how to create custom and highly formatted Excel templates. Okay, and this is done utilizing a Office 365 add-in, which could be online or on desktop. And I have videos showing you how to set that up as well as our help documentation. And basically, once that's set up, you create governed report tasks that are used to control distribution and bursting, sending this information to the stakeholders who are going to be making decisions. Okay, and this is directly from the Qlik Cloud Analytics platform. All right, so before we continue with the main topic, I'm just going to go through the basic information. On the last Do More, I was joined by my colleague Rocco Pecora, who is a Senior Manager of Offerings Management. He covered innovative possibilities, leveraging Qlik Cloud Analytics, along with advanced technologies like predictive analytics, predictive AI, predictive data science, AI-driven automations, generative AI. And this is in the Do More archive. And part 2 of the session is going to be in February, it's February 21st, where Rocco and a colleague named Wadi Lemoni is going to be joining us to show us the back end, the technical aspects of how that was built. And I have a little slide on that later as well, just to repeat that. So please understand we're covering a part 2 of what I showed in the last episode of Do More in February. Okay, and as I mentioned it, if you missed this, that one, or any of the previous Do More Qlik sessions, you could always check them out in our Do More Qlik library. Includes over 40 plus and counting previous sessions. This is available as a link that will be sent to you via email. And the most recent sessions are also available on our YouTube channel playlist, as I showed earlier. You will get links to the following in emails and updates. Okay, just another recap and shout out to the Qlik YouTube channel where you can learn more. There's the Do More Tips and Tricks edition, which is the videos that I create to help you learn how to do more with Qlik and the nuances regarding features, capabilities, and solutions. It's not just about features, it's about outcomes and how to solve problems utilizing almost the entire suite within the analytics genre that we have. Okay. And then on the next Do More, as I stated, my colleague Wadi Limone and Rocco Pecora, who's going to be our repeating guest, are going to unravel the behind-the-scenes magic that powers the custom churn application that was covered in part 1 back in December. So please join us February 21st at 10 a.m. for this. Okay, so we are going to cover tabular reporting. And since it's about report distribution and having the stakeholders who need to see that information to make those decisions, before I jump directly into tabular reporting, I am going to show you other ways. And this is for all of you on this call, because I know there's some people they sit there and they're like, oh, is that how you do it? Well, yes, and then some. Okay, so I'm going to cover and the then some that's already been and which is already available in the Qlik Cloud platform. So with the Qlik Cloud platform, we're going to empower the business users to drive their own consumption of analytics. Okay, but there is always the need for that centralized report distribution use case. And today you can do that with tabular reporting. Okay, so the overall goal of tabular reporting, well, I always like to do my demos and presentations. I'm just going to show you and run through it real quickly. And then I like to backtrack, right? Because for those of you who can't stay to the final part, I want to show you the solution up front, right? And then we'll backtrack on how it's done and cover those other items. Okay, so we're creating paginated tables of repeated sheets. Report developers can create these highly formatted Excel documents directly from governed Qlik data. and Qlik visualizations that already exist within the Qlik Sense apps in the Qlik Cloud Analytics platform. Okay, so information that's already there can be used to create these highly styled, formatted reports utilizing the Excel add-in. Okay, today I'm going to show you some of that basics. Please understand this is not an education on how to format and create reports in Excel, but you can leverage all of that existing knowledge to do that as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this part of the presentation. I'm going to bring up my environment. And this is Qlik Cloud Analytics platform. And we have very simple reports that have been created. And this is just to show you that any of the report content that is available, okay, whether it is KPIs, tabular reports or tables, visualizations or charts can all be pulled, even fields, variables, master items, expressions can all be pulled directly into the tabular reporting interface. Okay, so I'm going to bring this up, which is just Excel, and you'll notice that I have an add-in here. Again, covered in our documentations and videos on how to set this up, but you're creating a template. And what you're doing is you're accessing the Qlik environment and you're pulling your information that already exists from the space and the app. And then you have your sheets. And then from your sheets, you're pulling the existing KPIs and the charts. That's pretty much it. I'm going to show the start from scratch example. But tables, charts, variables and expressions. And then you could even set up what's called page level. So this is a completed example that shows you an existing template for territory analysis, sales, and order report. And you can see there's a page here called rep page. These are just tags that are imported, and the product knows the rest. It knows what to do with this information. And we could also utilize calculated formulas directly within Excel, formatting, styling, all that capability. So I have a nice little preview button here, and I can see what this is going to look like once it's distributed to my organization, which can be distributed via email currently, as well as SharePoint, so onto a cloud file system. And right now it's only format Excel. Okay, but there are plans to do other formats, but keep in mind, we could always do other formats with our other capabilities that I'm going to show you momentarily. And there's the completed report. Okay, so from here, we have our page level where our report is showing information regarding sales and orders. And then each rep is a sheet along the bottom. And then each territory is a separate header across the top. Okay, so that is Chris Lombardi. And this was just for the North, which we applied filters. So these are all the reps and only for the North region. Now, if you wanted to run this without filters, you can do that as well. And you'll see that through the task and the distribution part of this, where you can get, here's Chris, Territory North, and there's Chris, Territory South. So you can apply filters through the distribution process as well when running these tasks that you're going to see. You set up that template, you can preview it, and then the next step is when you are in your app, there is a reporting section. And then this is where you set up the report tasks. This is where you set up your filters. This is where you set up your recipients, groups, and then where you can upload the templates. And I'll show you all that from scratch once we, get to that part of it. So the email that is received, here's an example of an email. You have an attachment, territory sales and order report, and you saw the sample of that report. That could also be written to a SharePoint as well. Okay, and we'll get all into this deeper, but that's the gist of tabular reporting. You have an Excel add-in. It's part of Microsoft 365 Online Excel or your local Excel desktop app. You connect to your existing tenant, you pull in your existing app, and then you start to create a template with your fields, your visualizations, your tables, your measures, your expressions, utilizing the power of styling capabilities and formatting capabilities with Excel. But first, this is the thing you should know. There are existing additional distribution monitoring and subscription capabilities, right? Business users can drive their own experiences already fast and easy without that Excel added, right? That Excel added is with that distribution capability that I showed you. So first, there's chart monitoring, right? This is keeping track of your important metrics in the Qlik Cloud Hub, accessed from the hub directly, has a history, the last 10 versions, and it's updated dynamically with data that is refreshed, right? So if I go directly to my hub within my tenant, you'll notice that I have some charts already across the top, which I'm monitoring. So unfulfilled orders of a specific type, number of days that the max lead or lead time it's been open. And if I wanted to view the chart, I can view the chart. Now, this is just a KPI, but I could also look at chart history for the last 10 days. And if that's changed at all, and we could open it up directly within the app. And it'll bring you directly to the app as well. So chart monitoring, keeping track of those important metrics directly in your hub, okay? A way of being aware of the information that you need to make decisions on. Subscription to sheets and charts, okay? Capability of using email distribution, and this is inside sharing with users, cloud users inside your organization, okay? The distribution using the tabular reporting, you could also share outside your organization. You have the output PDF and PowerPoint options. These can be scheduled on data refreshes or on an interval that you choose, and you can add multiple sheets. So very simply, while you're working within your Qlik Analytics, depending on the chart you want, you can right click and say, I want to keep track of this chart. I'm going to click subscribe, put in your description, choose your format, choose your schedule, add additional users to the subscription if they have access, and you can see this information and have it distributed immediately. And the same thing can be done subscribing to a sheet. And that would be received as an email inside your inbox. Okay, so this already exists as well, and there isn't any additional creation other than just interacting and subscribing with it immediately. Okay, data alerts, let's not forget about that. Also available to make you aware on mobile devices. Okay, at any time, you can set up an alert for a particular measure with robust conditions and logic and share it with Qlik Cloud users inside your organization. Okay, and it has the ability to be self-managed, and you can do it through email, web, and mobile notifications. So when I'm working with analytics, if I want to keep track of my uncontrolled, unfulfilled orders, I can right click, I can select alerts, create a new alert, or edit an existing alert, which I will do. And you can see we're looking at total orders and days open, show by dimension. I could add additional measures. Days open is greater than the value of 4 days. I could add additional conditions. I could link them, group them. I get a preview of the alert and see what will be sent regarding my criteria. And then also setting up scheduling and distribution. Okay, so data alerts are another way of sending out distribution. And then an honorable mention, what you should know, the report service that is available in application automation, and there's some resources on this as well, allowing you to extend for more advanced composition use cases, okay? And I have created tutorials on this as well as videos on YouTube. This is using application automation. We already have templates that are built in application automation. As you can see here, send a single multi-page report by email, share a report with a cover sheet and cycled pages in Dropbox, store, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to go through all this, but this is utilizing our report service and application automation to create that automated workflow. Okay, so you have a variety of capabilities that are available for different types of use cases for report distribution, whether it's alerting or notification or simple subscription or operational reporting and centralized management. Okay, Now onto the main event about tabular reporting. I already spoke to this. About the report template creation. All the sheets are very intuitive when you get started. It guides you to creating recipients and groups, adding filters, adding a distribution folder in SharePoint if it's optional, building the schedule, scheduling the report task, and you're going to see all that. You're authoring with the add-in that I showed you in Excel. You have the capability of using distribution lists. They added a really nice, like a lot of kudos to the development team and product management on this, the way they actually developed this. They offer you the ability to download a sample distribution list and use that distribution list immediately. So you just download this Excel file, put in some email addresses, and then save it, and it'll actually import it into your app. And then when you refresh that app, it actually becomes part of your data model. So then you go into the governed task, you'll see those individuals that you can send reports to. Okay. So that being said, it actually adds as part of your load script, but since it's a load script, you can actually access anything for your distribution list that has a connector. In my example, I actually have my own tables in SQL Server that I'm using instead of their Excel script. You have filters to control data reduction. So regarding how you want your reports to be distributed based off of certain fields in that distribution list, if you have a filter applied for a particular individual, I use the term bursting. That's what I've used for the past 20 years. You can burst those individual reports based off of those filters in that distribution list. Okay, and you have this governed task management. You're going to see that basically creating the report task, selecting the criteria, selecting the timestamps, the formats, the distribution method as well. This is set up and controlled within the management console. I have videos on that as well. And there are audit events that actually track the usage on what's going on, the source, the type, so you can go into the audit event logs to see what's happening. Okay, so now we're going to just pretty much now just point and click and do some demonstration. A couple of things I do want to mention. Everything has got full API coverage as well. Okay, so APIs are supported. So a lot of the stuff that you see me doing with point and click, drag and drop can also be done programmatically through the use of RESTful services, post and get methods, utilizing our APIs. So just go to qlik.dev as well. So for those of you who want to work with reporting and tasks and report templates and automation blocks, are planned later for application automation, right? If you are familiar with application automation, anything that you can do through let's say a RESTful service where you have, an endpoint and you have parameters can all be done without code, controlling back-end processes and automation processes. It's an amazing piece of technology and I love it. In regards to the add-in availability, you need to also make sure you're on the latest version of Excel desktop, or if you're online, Microsoft 365, it has to be added, and you have to have OAuth set up within your management console. There's a whole procedure to get it available in there. I have presented that fairly simple within the videos in the YouTube channel, so you'll be able to kind of capture those. Okay. So I have a blank Excel worksheet. I'm going to click the Qlik add-in. Now I'm already authenticated, so it probably shouldn't prompt me, but if you're not authenticated, you'll have to go through your authentication process. I'm going to choose my space, and I have one called Do More with Qlik, and I'm going to choose an app, and I've been using this one called RGB Tabular Reporting. I'm sorry, RGB Sales, Talent, and Stitch as this one right here, and I click Save. So that basically sets the context of where it's going to pull that information from. And that correlates basically, if you guys are familiar, obviously with the Qlik Cloud Hub, if I go to Catalog and I go to Spaces and I choose Do More with Qlik, and then you see there's your RGB Sales, Azure Talent, Stitch. So I'm accessing basically the content in this app. And there's all my sheets. And here I have one just called Tabular Reporting Unfulfilled Orders. And basically I'm going to start pulling directly from this sheet. So now when I go back to Excel, I'm going to add a table. Now, adding that table can be the full actual table. And you can see there's Tabular Reporting Unfulfilled Orders. And then you can see the different headers here. There's a table. It'll load a preview of the table. And I can actually add that table directly as an object, or I could add the individual columns. And in this case, I like adding the individual columns. So I'm just going to choose all and click add. And you're going to see it puts the tags. Then I'm just going to select. I'm going to insert a line above this. Maybe insert another line above this. Then I'm going to just select my columns, and we're going to format it as a table. My table has headers. Then I'm going to choose this section of cells, merge and center. And I'm just going to call this sales report. And you can see right now I'm pretty much just using the styling capabilities. So now I have the preview download, and there's my report. I haven't done any other formatting, but that's the gist of pulling in that information, right? So I can close this, clear the preview, and then I can continue again, right? So if I wanted to change, column formatting, I could highlight my columns. I can say auto fit row height, auto fit column width, or I can take my columns and stretch them a little bit. I can change the order of how I want my information to display. And then I can go back to preview again and see my changes. Now there are other capabilities in here. I'm just going to pull in a chart. And we're going to pull it in from that same unfulfilled order report. There's KPIs. And I can preview that KPI if I wanted to. Add that to the report. I can add a level or a page. In this case, I'm just going to add a page, and we're going to look at reps within our fields. And you're going to see it's going to add rep. And we'll do another preview. Since there are a lot of questions on here, I'm going to address maybe some of those questions as well after this demonstration. If for some reason you hang up before I get to those questions, I will try to address them. Little trick here. The link says open file, but you got to double click this. Okay, so Chris has 0 unfilled control orders. Donkey Kong has 1. John Doe has 0. Kathleen has 1. And Mike Tarallo has 2. Okay, so unfulfilled control pad orders. So this was a KPI for unfulfilled control pad orders, and this is the list of just the orders for each rep. So Kathleen has 1 of these orders plus 1 unfulfilled control pad order. So the product's smart enough to paginate the different KPIs and segment those pages and the appropriate measures for that dimension when I use the paginate. Okay, so that's just our template here. So I'm creating a very simple template. As I mentioned, you can put in levels. So I can break this up by territories. Now this is the unfulfilled order report. So it's only showing orders that are unfulfilled. I can pull in additional charts and additional information. And we can spend some more time on that, but I want to show you the gist of saving the template. So now I'm going to just save the template. I could save it to OneDrive. I'll just call it Do More Template. Click Save. And now I'm going to go to reporting within my Qlik Sense app. Okay, look at that. These were the ones that I had automated. They failed, so there might have been a problem in my distribution list or something. That's, I don't know. There might have been just a hiccup. But this is an indication showing you there was a problem running those reports. So now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a, I'm going to upload my template. Now you can do this through the report task. You can see add existing template, upload new, but I want to just show you directly from the templates. You can see you can store a bunch of templates. The templates are the Excel documents that you create with the Excel add-in, just like I showed you here. Okay, so that's the template. So I'm just going to upload the template. I'm going to browse. Now I put it in my OneDrive. So there it is. Oh, it's in use. So that's the other thing, is that if you do it locally, make sure you close Excel, because it'll detect that it's in use, because right now mine's on the cloud on OneDrive. So it's just doing a status of update right now. Probably should have saved it locally instead of my cloud. Okay, so now there's the do more template. That's it. You have the ability to rename, upload a new version, delete, and download. Groups, I don't have any groups. Now recipients are already loaded. Okay, now if you add recipients, you can see upload a new version of an Excel file, which I could show you briefly what it looks like, or connect to a data source, or you could even download an example. Okay, so I'm just going to open up my OneDrive, and I'm just going to show you when you download the example file, it looks like this. Okay, it's got these two tabs: DL distribution service users, DL distribution service groups. That's it. That's all that's in that file. So you can customize that for your own needs. All you need to have is name, email, filters, and groups, and name and description in the group table, and that's it. Now what I did, just to show you the flexibility, is in my data load script, my distribution list is actually pulling from SQL Server. Okay, and I have a SQL tool called dbeaver on here. And you can see I have DL distribution service users, and there's my data, email, name, and then I also have groups, name and description. And you can see even Mike Tarallo has a filter called North. So you can use those distribution lists however you want. I added it as part of my app. So that's where it's pulling these users from. Okay, now when you edit a user, you can actually apply a filter to that user when you create up the filters. I apologize. So if I go to filters, I can say add filter, new filter, and then you just type it in, and it searches for it, but I'm just going to edit it so you can see it. So we have a filter called North, description, and you can see it's actually utilizing territory, the field or the dimension, and the value North. So this is applying that filter to that user. So when the distribution list sends out to that user, it's only going to send the values of North in that data to those people in the distribution list. Now, if Mike Tarallo was just in a group with North and not the others, then only he would get it. But in this instance, we're sending everybody in the distribution list who has the North data to Michael Tarallo. And then we have our report task. So I'll create a new report task, call it do more task. Add existing template or upload new or manage templates. It just brings you back to the pages I showed you. So we're going to add the do more template. Click next. File name will be do more output. You can see the timestamp it applies and the format. You can see that it's locked to Excel and it's disabled or grayed out, which indicates they're probably going to allow different output formats in the future. And filters, you can apply the filters that you created. I'm just going to say none. Then we go to distribution. Now it's going to recognize the users that are in the distribution list as you type them. Okay, you can manage the users, manage all report recipients. In this case here, I'm just going to put in MTO. We can put everybody in. Okay. The other thing to realize is that these are external users. These aren't users that are part of the Qlik organization, except me. All right. So if you want to externally distribute content, you would use your distribution method and the Excel report add-in or tabular reporting process. Okay. Send the report to each recipient via email. This blah, blah, blah. Can I subscribe to the report? And then you can see subject, body message. I'm not sure if you can put HTML in here. I haven't tried. I think you might be able to, but there's a body message. And then folder, if you had SharePoint connection set up, you can actually select your SharePoint connection in the folder path and write the file directly to SharePoint. Then finally, when data is refreshed, or daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. So we just say daily times once, time zone, time of day, run the schedule continuous, click save. And now we have our task set up. And here I can just click send it now. And then this will provide us running status update. And then providing everything is working in my backend in the cloud, it will distribute that report to Donkey Kong and myself. And that's pretty much the gist of it. If you had to say what's the most difficult part of actually using this, it's the creativity behind styling the actual report in Excel. So I obviously wasn't going to be able to waste your time building this type of report. I don't say waste your time because I don't have time to do that in an hour session of building this, but it wasn't entirely difficult to build this. But the components available here, as you can see, I have a calculated column. So I'm using Excel's formulas and calculations as well. I'm using their subtotal capability that's available directly within these columns here, right? So when you click on the totals, it'll automatically sum up those totals. And my email just went off. And where is my inbox? And there we go. Do more task, do more report. And there's Chris, Donkey Kong, John Doe, Kathleen, and Mike. Alrighty, so that is like your basic bare bones example. For a little bit more deeper dive, our Qlik Help channel has a playlist, really good set of videos on here that go through creating their report templates and so forth. If you go to videos, I think it's under latest videos. Getting started creating tabular reports, deploying and installing Qlik add-in, using variables and expressions in reports. And then also within the playlist that I create in the Do More with Qlik Tips and Tricks edition.
Atera is an all-in-one IT platform.
You have the ability, I have how to set up tabular reporting with OAuth client, simple report distribution, Qlik Tabular Reporting, and then Excel add-in for Qlik Tabular Reporting, Microsoft Excel desktop app. Okay, and you can see they're fairly short videos. So I know people got short attention span these days, so I try not to keep everything too long. But that should give you enough to get you started with this. All right, this is exactly what I wanted to do with the time I have left. I'm going to now go through a lot of the questions. If you need to leave, I appreciate you joining. Thank you. Please join me February 21st at 10 a.m. for the next Do More, where Rocco and Wadi are going to go through the back-end process of the generative AI, predictive AI, and other auto ML back-end capabilities for the customer churn app that they showed in December, or that Rocco showed in December. Okay, you can register for that today at Do More. I always never have the URL. You're going to get the URL, but we have a page called Do More with Qlik, and you can see February 21st, and this is where you would register as well. In fact, what I'll do is I'll just I'll put it to the chat to everyone so you can register for that if you want to. All right, guys, you have a great rest of your week. Let's have a successful 2024. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one, February 21st with Rocco and Wadi. I love when I have those because a little less preparation for me and I can focus on some other work because I kind of introduce them and then they take over from there. All right, guys, I love being part of your day and your community. And thank you for making Do More with Qlik successful. And I appreciate it. And I hope to see you guys at a live event like Qlik Connect in June. In Orlando, in my hometown. Little plug for that. So if you haven't signed up for that, they're still running some promotions. So please join or go to qlik.com and look for whatever links to get you there. And if I see you there, hope to see you and stop by, say hello. All right, guys, you take care.